We go to CTV National News correspondent Adrian Gabriel joining us live from Tel Aviv this morning. Adrian, thanks for joining us. Talk to us a little bit about the latest developments in Gaza, this bombing at a hospital with allegedly 500 people killed.
Yeah, it's early reports, breaking news just coming in that they're, according to the Palestinian Authority, that an Israeli airstrike hit a hospital in northern Gaza, as you mentioned, killing hundreds of people inside. If the numbers and the figures are accurate, this is a worst-case scenario. For days now, Israeli authorities have been asking hospitals to evacuate their patients, bring them to the south, but hospitals have said that's simply impossible. It would be a death sentence for so many inside that hospital. The Israeli Defense Force, so the IDF, saying that hasn't given an official comment on this yet, other than to say that they're looking into what took place. They're not confirming that it was an Israeli airstrike, but again, upwards of 500 people dead, according to the Palestinian Authority, and this is just a horrific number and development in what has been a very challenging few days in the region. As we know now, there are thousands of people who have been killed in Gaza, far surpassing any of the previous wars.
Let's talk a little bit about the situation in the southern area of Gaza, where the Israeli government is asking people to move to. We know that there's only a couple of hospitals there. According to the UN, they're already overrun as well. We've heard about alleged bombings on the Rafah crossing. So talk to us a little bit about that, Adrian.
Well, we now know that hundreds of thousands have gone from the north to the south. Many people trying to get to that Rafah crossing, foreign nationals, Canadians, Americans, Palestinians as well, trying to enter into Egypt. And it's a key port because it is the only entranceway, or maybe perhaps I should say the only exit way out of Gaza is that crossing at this time. But it has been closed on the other side. The convoy of trucks with vital aid to get into Gaza continues to grow because there's no humanitarian passage through. Several days ago, Egypt said they would open the gates once they had confirmation that a humanitarian corridor would be created. That has not happened. The gate remains closed. Aid remains at a standstill, and people desperately needing out of a region that is under heavy bombardment by the Israeli military are stuck right now. And it is a growing humanitarian crisis, according to the United Nations. We also know that there was a school in central Gaza as well, where about 4,000 people were taking shelter, according to the UN. That has also been hit by an airstrike, with multiple more deaths. So with every passing hour, this gets more and more dire. When we look at the need for aid in Gaza, hospitals have also been saying that that they're running short on fuel to run their generators. We know that water is in short supply. When you can think of young babies in a NIC unit and their need for electricity to survive, to stay warm, and if that gets shut off or if it runs out, the number of casualties could go even higher.
We know U.S. President Joe Biden has announced that he's visiting and going to be speaking actually with Netanyahu tomorrow. Walk us through what that talk could look like and what residents are hoping comes out of that conversation.
Well, there's been multiple diplomatic measures. We know that the U.S. Secretary of State crisscrossed the Arab world this week trying to rally support. Anthony Blinken saying 2 days ago that the Rafah crossing would open. It hasn't. Now enters Joe Biden into the picture, and you have to believe that some of his top priorities is getting that passage open, getting aid into Gaza, but also getting Americans and foreign nationals out, as well as those hostages. One has to believe as well that there has been talks with neighboring Arab nations, talking with Hamas leaders to get some American captives out and freed. For Joe Biden, that would be a big win. Is it possible? Only time will tell.
A lot of eyes on that conversation tomorrow. CTV National News correspondent Adrian Gabriel, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.